Hello, everybody. My name is Ken Meisegland, Chief Administrator for External Affairs, and we have with us Commissioner Jody Hill-Lilly. Commissioner, you have now been with us about 8 months leading the department after being appointed by Governor Ned Lamont. Hello, and what are your opening remarks and statements to our staff?
Well, hello, and it of course is an honor and privilege to serve as your commissioner. Can't believe it's been 8 months. Time goes by so fast. And as usual, I like to take the time out to express my deep appreciation to all of our employees, whether you're in central office, whether you're in the facilities, and we do have this wonderful wilderness school, whether you're in the offices, carrying cases or in the caseload carrying chain of command. I deeply appreciate everything that you do every day. Also like to take time out to thank our providers who I know watch these videos and all of our communities, whether you're schools, police. I just really appreciate all the work that you all do on behalf of our kids every day.
And one other group too that we've talked about is to say thanks as well to our parents and youth with lived expertise, who we've called upon a number of times to inform, take part in discussions with us about certain aspects of our work. So shout out to them as well.
Absolutely. Nothing about us
without us.
And we feel very strongly that we need the voice of our kids and families to lead us in this effort. So I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Commissioner, right as you took office, you identified an additional strategic focus area for the department, which is now prevention. So that's our 6th strategic focus area. What was the thought behind that?
So, I started this administration under the great Vanessa Durantes, our previous commissioner, and our key areas of focus remain the same: safety, permanency, well-being, racial justice, and workforce. Those are our key areas. I wanted, even in conjunction with the administration, under the Lamont administration, I partnered together with all of the agencies, our sister agencies, and we're together looking at how do we intervene on behalf of families further upstream to interrupt the trajectory of them coming to our attention in the first place. So we really wanted to put a lot of focus in on that area, and proud to have you at the helm of a lot of that work, Karen.
There we go. Thank you. So along the lines of that 6th strategic focus area, you also identified 5 priorities for the department, starting with focus on safety practice and service provision for the 0 to 5 population and our transition aged youth, which are our older youths. What's the thought behind that?
Absolutely. So as safety, is always our priority. We like for kids to remain home in their own homes safely as possible. And so I really wanted to put a little focus on our kids 0 to 5, because that's a population that is less visible to the community, and our most vulnerable population are little babies.
Yep.
So we're busy putting some into practice, some safety related services, safety related practices to really bolster our attention to our little ones. And again, we're not looking to remove kids unnecessarily, actually quite the opposite. We're looking to bolster the support that families get with little children. And likewise, I'm really concerned about our older population. If you think back to when the pandemic started, our adolescents, around sort of 13 years old, they're a vulnerable population, and we're seeing this sort of play out in the increase in behavioral health services that are being accessed, by our older youth. We're worried about homelessness. We're worried about substance use. We're worried about suicide.
Lots happening.
We really want to wrap our arms around our older youth.
Yep. Along those lines of behavioral health, you've also made it a priority to enhance the framework for behavioral health.
Yes, absolutely. Really proud of Connecticut in that being the lead agency for children's behavioral health, we have spent a lot of time, effort, and money even building out preventive services on the behavioral health side. Things like the UCC, which is a wonderful, wonderful resource that we now have available. Yeah, just like you can go to an urgent care center for medical health, you can go to an urgent care center for behavioral health for children. And that was huge. And you don't have to have an open case on the protective service side to access these services. So we're really proud. That's just one example of the work that's being done to build out our behavioral health framework. I say to people all the time, we have to destigmatize the need to go get mental health services. I believe everybody should have a therapist. I hope you have one. I have one. I tell people I go to church and I go to therapy because I think we need to normalize the conversation around behavioral health.
Seeking support is a sign of strength. We say that over and over again. And we don't do this work alone. And the fourth priority of yours is deepening local partnerships. So bringing in those in our communities together to collaborate, to understand our work, but have us open ourselves up to understanding others' work as well.
Yeah, we cannot do this work alone. And I said it under the Lamont administration. I'm so fortunate to be working with commissioners who have like minds. And we together as sister agencies are partnering, and we understand the need to partner with our local communities. Families, children belong in families. Families are in communities. Communities are in neighborhoods. And so where their local churches, where their community service organizations like Boys and Girls Clubs, those types of things. Where the partnering with police, partnering with schools. We need to think holistically about what a child needs, and I believe we need to go deeper in the community to do so.
Agree. And the last priority is providing supports for staff across all divisions. We talk all the time about the complexity of our working, making sure that those who are closest to our families and children have all the tools that they need to be strong and successful in their work.
Absolutely. I think I've gone on record more than a few times by saying we need to help the people who help the people, right? And so what does that mean? That means that we need enough of staff and employees to actually do the work so that they're not overloaded. This work is tough. It's sacred work. It takes a lot out of you to do this work. And so we want to make sure our employees are supported with enough bodies to actually do the work and that they have the tools in order to do the work. So again, I believe we have one of the best child protective service agencies in the nation. I, have enough exposure to the national platform to say that very confidently. We're not perfect by any means necessary, but I'm telling you, I believe we have one of the best systems ever. And the reason that is so is because of each one of you who are working on behalf of our kids and families. And again, I never talk about our staff unless I'm talking about our providers. We really appreciate what the providers do every day.
And to help with our infrastructure and to be successful, you made a number of appointments since you've been named commissioner, and staff can have seen those via email. You can see those in the commissioner's corner right on our website. So no need to go into details, but it's important that staff know who is the chief of staff, who's the new deputy of administration, and other key appointments.
We are finally getting to a full team, at the executive level. And quite frankly, we are reducing our number of vacancies thanks to the excellent work of our partners at DAS, our HRBP unit, and the folks that are doing all of the recruiting for us. We're hearing across the state that they've seen in some divisions some movement, significant movement. We have done our best to move towards predictive hiring so that you can just about anticipate when the numbers of reports are going to go up. So we want to make sure that our staffing is adequate. Most importantly, I just want to say that we are doing our best to support our workforce.
Okay, so Commissioner, when we talk about the children and families and what's happening around Connecticut, we're receiving almost 70,000 new reports of child abuse and neglect through our care system. And the department has actually developed a new and enhanced mandated reporter training based on the new statutes that were passed to give mandated reporters more flexibility prior to a report being made. Can you walk us through those changes and why that is so significant for families across our state?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the reports are up. We're actually at or a little bit beyond pre-pandemic
Yep.
numbers. And that's largely because there's a lot in our community. There's a lot of our families struggling. There's also what we believe to be a heightened fear of not reporting.
What happens if I don't?
Yeah, so part of what we wanted to do was to minimize that fear and in some regards to not take away the mandated reporters' responsibility of reporting when they have reasonable cause to suspect. But when they need just a little bit more information, giving them the opportunity to ask just the one or two questions to get better information to inform whether or not they have reasonable cause to suspect.
So the technical language in the statute is mandated reporters now can conduct a preliminary inquiry if information comes to them, but it doesn't meet this reasonable suspicion to make a report threshold. They can ask questions to get there, and our training outlines that. The technical aspects of the statute also say that if a mandated reporter takes a look, makes an assessment, and in good faith doesn't make a report, then they are covered as well because they've done the work, they've made an open, conscientious assessment and chose not to make a report. And that's huge. So it takes some of the fear out of what happens if I don't make a report in their minds.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that our mandated reporters felt supported and free enough to ask, just a few more questions.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you may not have all the information or feel you have enough information and something happens with a family. We want to make sure we maximize protections for our mandated reporters.
And to give mandated reporters more tools. And again, if they believe a reasonable suspicion exists, make the call.
Absolutely.
But what we also did at the end of the training is provided what we call a roadmap of supports with what's the title, again, Seeking Support is a Sign of Strength, where we walk the audience through many of the supports available in Connecticut. And as we've said it before, is we are resource rich when you really compare us to a number of other states. So this is another tool to say to those who are working with families, if you're concerned about, housing or childcare, go here. Behavioral health supports, go here. Consider natural and family resources. So it really puts information back in the hands of those who need it the most.
Yeah, we felt it was really critical to put that information in the video because while we do have a lot of resources out there, it's amazing how many people don't know.
Yeah.
And so we figured attaching it to the mandated reporter video would be a good way to get the information out there. And in case you haven't seen it, I suggest you go see it because it stars our very own Ken Meisicklet.
My acting debut, right? My acting debut. Thank you. So, Commissioner, before we wrap up, two key pieces that you wanted to talk to the staff about: the ever prevalent question of telework and your thoughts on wellness and work-life balance.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you to every employee who filled out any survey related to telework or safe and sound. And it really is really helpful in helping us form our agenda and form our decision making. So thank you around that. I started in 1988 where you would have never thought that telework would even be a remote option for us. No pun intended. Telework is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. We know better, so we do better. I think what we're trying to do is to figure out how you minimize what we are also learning from our exit surveys is a little bit of folks feeling a little isolated, doing things without the team around themselves. Yeah, by themselves a little bit. We're hearing that loud and clear. And as you know, social workers are going out in the field. They're not reporting to the offices except for, one time a week. And in even other areas of the department, just coming in to see each other one day a week doesn't appear to be enough for folks. And so we're trying to figure out how we maximize the virtual environment to create more cohesion and opportunity for people to get together, and what level of telework is necessary for us to not lose the camaraderie that we need, the teamwork that we need. Nothing like when you're seeing each other.
Sitting next to somebody, you bet.
We will never be a 100% telework environment. We approve those temporarily, but there's an component to this work that's hugely necessary for the teamwork to occur.
We want to put out any fires in the mist that it's going away. Telework's here, but as our agency evolves, families evolve, the workforce evolves, telework in the form of that is going to evolve as well.
Absolutely.
As is, like you said, the remote environment. So, and then, that all segues into wellness and work-life balance, some of which you've given voice to already, but you have some very clear thoughts on how you want us to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, it is so critical that we pay attention to our health, to our wellness, to our mental health, I am a workforce person. I spent the overwhelming majority of my career in workforce development. And so that will always be a priority for me because we can't get this work done but through the people.
Right.
And so it's my intention to make sure that we get this right too, that we do the work-life balance, that we are supporting our staff to have that balance. And I did a thing, Ken. I did a thing. I said no scheduled meetings during lunch.
12 to 1.
Oh,
off.
My goodness. Yeah. And so
you're holding us accountable.
I'm practicing what I preach. There are things that we can do for our overall mindfulness and things like that. So coming near you soon, you'll start to hear more around how we do more in terms of mindfulness, what types of things we need to do to take care of ourselves. I need you to be well so that you can take care of the people.
There you go. And I think we'll end right there. This will be one of many videos that you'll see. I think we plan to do these on a monthly basis. If you have topics that you would like us to discuss, please, shoot over some communications to the Commissioner's office, and we'll go from there. So, Commissioner, thank you for your time, and stay tuned, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.